Let's talk about snipers in Foxhole. Sniper rifles in Foxhole have a sort of unique yet niche area where they can be used effectively in the game. They're the longest ranged handheld weapons and often kill targets in one shot within their range. Snipers used to have their own unique ammunition. However, recent updates to try and make them a little more supplyable from Logi made it so that they used the standard rifle rounds. Now this was great for snipers, because now suddenly you had access to a lot more ammo. However, because of that, it made them overall far more powerful. A lot of people in the Foxhole community, more or less rightly so, have begun to feel like snipers have become overpowered due to these changes. Whereas before, they were far too rare because they were extremely difficult to supply and not really used in very many situations, or now they're universally good and almost ubiquitous on the battlefield. The most recent proposed changes to the sniper rifles limit them severely, making you unable to fire them from a standing position at the time of this recording, and giving them stability debuffs, like real bad. I really don't like these changes. I find they're far too limiting and are way too blunt as a balance patch to snipers. I'd like to propose a different idea. But how does that look in Foxhole? Well, here's something I've whipped up. Currently, weapon stability is a linear graph that increases over time as long as you don't move your focus point or your character around. Once stability reaches its maximum peak, it stays there. I would simply suggest moving that weapon stability up and down as the graph progresses. None of this holding at max stability all the time forever. Your character breathes after all, they are a human being. And here's what it would look like reflecting in on your stability on your crosshairs. As the stability goes up, crosshairs focus in, and as you're exhaling and your stability goes down, your crosshairs also expand, rendering you less accurate. Meaning that while you're regularly sitting on the front line, you'll actually have to time when you shoot a target, not just pick a spot, sit there, and wait for one to walk into your sights. And yes, how do you stabilize it in case you really need to nail this one target? Well, why not hold your breath? If you tie it to the current stamina system within Foxhole, it's a risk-reward system. Yeah, you'll hold your breath and get off that one perfect shot, but will you hold your breath for too long and thus be tired and can't run away immediately after? This puts snipers at a greater risk when they want to take more accurate shots, thus, hopefully, making them less ubiquitous with a higher skill ceiling. And yes, I know it sounds like every shooter over the last 20 years. Here's what my proposed changes look like in full. The inability to run away after taking a shot and exposing your position in a game like Foxhole, where positioning and outflanking the enemy is crucial, this might very well be a fatal mistake for inexperienced snipers. I've always thought this would be a really cool mechanic for Foxhole, and most of the groundwork is already there, though I'm not going to claim to say it's easy to implement these changes. I don't know how the engine works, and I'm not a game developer. That being said, what do you guys think of this idea? I realize this is a bit of a different video, but I really wanted to talk about this. That and explaining this in a text dump on Reddit doesn't really do the idea justice, I feel. If you like what you saw, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, Bear out.